Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in the right place at the right time. Today is Wednesday and it is noon, and you're right on time for the noon report. I am your host, Dr. Ron. I'm glad you dropped in for today. I tell you, it's some crazy stuff in the air. And I tell you, I don't even understand why it's going the way that it's going, but it's some crazy stuff in the air. Let's talk about a little bit of it. First thing I want to do is give a shout out to my mentor, Dr. Hunt. Dr. Hunt and I have been traveling in life together for 30 plus years. And I love giving a shout out to him on every broadcast because I want to encourage you all, the people, the viewers, the listeners, to get a mentor, somebody that you can count on that can be a blessing to both you and your family, as well as you can be a blessing to him and his family. So I encourage it wholeheartedly. Every broadcast religiously, I talk about my mentor, and I want to encourage you all to do the same. Talk about your mentor. Shout it from the rooftop. I got a mentor and he's been a blessing to me. So let's just get on that bandwagon, find somebody if you don't have somebody. And then when you get a show, you can shout your mentor out from the rooftop. All right. So let's move right along. I just want to understand what's wrong with these Republicans. These Republicans have lost their mind. They would rather, there are so many that are hard right Republicans that would rather see the country shut down and not pay its bills than to go along with what McCarthy and the president came up with as a negotiation to help keep this thing going. So let's talk about it a little bit. There are many hard right Republicans that say no to the deal. They do not want to talk about any of the negotiations that were successfully done during the negotiations with McCarthy and President Biden. Now, Jeffries has also said that, look, no matter what, how many hard right don't vote for it, we got enough Democrats to push it up and maybe even push it over. So people don't worry. But the Republicans think that they're running things. They think they're ballers. They think they're thugs. They think they're hard. And they think that they can stop the world for their own selfish reason. Now, I was listening to some commentaries about what the negotiation was really all about. And McCarthy went in there trying to do budget negotiations at a time like this when you need to increase the debt ceiling. The budget negotiations don't start until September. So Biden says, okay, you want to talk about the budget? Let's talk about the budget. But the real hardline negotiation for the budget don't take place till September. So all of these things that he said he walked away with, are really a joke. There are things that are going to affect how the government is going to be affected during the budget negotiations. Now, it's interesting. McCarthy, during some of his press blurbs, was saying that, yes, we had a victory. We got children gonna have to get up off the couch and go to work if their parents receive SNAP or federal funds for public aid. Now that's ridiculous. How are you gonna force children who need to be in school somewhere to have to get up and go to work somewhere because you think that you're making a gain by forcing children to go to work? Children's job is to go to school. But now you want to put them in the field somewhere picking cotton or picking watermelon because you feel like they need to work in order to be able to eat? Unridiculous statement from the Republican leader in the Republican Party. Oh my God, that's retarded. He is out there pushing for reform in the public aid system. These people are already poor. Nobody goes down and gets on public aid on purpose. They're struggling. They need food. And now you're going to push upon them rules and regulations to make it harder to get food and starve to death. I mean, if you look at third world countries that are not feeding their people, they have this issue. We have aid from this country, the Red Cross, churches, ministries that feed people in other countries because they don't have no other way to get fed. So, what do you want? Other countries that have more money and more influence than us to offer food to our poor, to offer food to our young because they have no other place to get it? That's what you set us up for. Now, this is supposed to be one of the richest countries in the world. Yes, our debt is in the trillions of dollars because we feed people everywhere else around the world, but yet we treat our homeless in the worst deplorable possible way. So, yes, I'm calling them out on this one. Leave the people that need help alone. Ain't nobody getting over on the gun. You act like people are getting millions of dollars to feed their family. No, you need to be charging those that are millions of dollars sitting in their coffers the opportunity to help some of the poor people in this country by charging them more taxes. But they don't want to talk about that. They want to give more tax breaks and save money, keep more money in their pocket, and they don't care who starves to death. All right, you done got me on a rant and a rave here. So now I want to give a talk about the building that has fallen down and collapsed in Iowa. And I want to send a prayer of support out to those families that have lost their homes and lost loved ones in that collapsed building in Iowa. Yes, it's in the news headlines. And I just definitely want to talk about that for a brief second. There's something going on with these buildings and all the developments that took place and that were done improperly. And there were several people that were saying, like, why didn't anybody know that this building was capable of collapsing? They do inspections on this building all the time. Why didn't they know? Why didn't the structural engineers, tell somebody, get out of this building? It's a possibility that it may fall. They didn't do that. So some people, you know, um, they did not take care of their business the way that they should have by investigating and checking this building properly. They could have saved some lives. So shout out to the families. Got to talk about Ron, the governor in Florida, and his botched, botched campaign announcement. He was doing a radio talk on Twitter announcing that he's running for the presidency of the United States, and the servers crashed. Everybody couldn't hear it. It was like a disaster. He could have had national press covering this, had his campaign advisors advised him to do so, but he listened to the opportunity of Twitter owner, Elon Musk, trying to gather whatever, control over the Ron DeSantis, who's out there running for president now. And he made him look like an utter fool. The world is laughing at him right now, just like they did when he came over and did a world tour as the governor of Florida with no power and authority to represent nothing. And he's out there trying to beg people to come to the United States, and they're looking at him laughing. So another disaster for the Republican Party. The Attorney General in Texas, got impeached on this weekend. So they went into committee and they voted to impeach him. So he definitely got a impeachment vote. But for Republicans, that doesn't mean much of nothing. So they impeached the president, former president, 3 times, and it didn't mean anything to the Republicans because he's still their front runner candidate. He's still the person that they want to save the world, to save the country, and it's unbelievable. I saw some updated information about the former president that his lawyers are now turning on him. People are beginning to see that this is a disaster. Some of his former attorneys, and I say former, have testified to the investigation of those documents that were in his house, and they were saying, yeah, he knew about it, but he didn't care. He said, don't worry about it. He waved it off, quote unquote, as one of the attorneys have said. So the testimony that's coming forward from people that can prove that he knew and did nothing about turning over that information is definitely damning towards him. He is definitely going to have to answer for those documents in Mar-Largo, because he claimed that he didn't know they were there. Oh, I declassified them with my mind. I could just think and woof, they're declassified. When there is a procedure to declassify documents, and he did not follow the procedure to declassify the documents. So now the grand jury is going to bring in the fact that they need to bring charges. You know, I saw something on social media recently that said that um, Donald Trump had on a orange jumpsuit, and they said this is going to be his next attire. So he's still campaigning, thinking that he's going to have an opportunity to be president. But I think with all the nooses that are closing in around his neck, that it's going to be very difficult to campaign and become president from a jail cell. I just don't think it's going to happen. I know Georgia is supposed to be bringing forth their felony charges in the months of June to I think they said September. They informed all of their staff to be ready to entertain, you know, his entourage when they come, so that they can put him in front of a judge in Georgia for his part and the role he played with that conversation that he said was a beautiful conversation. Well, it's going to beautifully get him arrested, I hope, real soon. So I'm just, you know, curious on why the Republican Party holds so much faith and confidence in this man when he ain't did nothing but lie and mess the country up. If you go back and look, now this is what I'm encouraging people to do. This is your homework. I'm encouraging you to do this. I want you to go back and look at every company that Donald Trump had his hands on throughout his entire career, and find out how many of those companies that he totally ruined and destroyed. I just want you to take a look for yourself. He destroyed every company that he put his hands on. Everything that he was in charge of, everything that he had control of, he ruined it. And it only took him 4 years to mess up the United States of America. Only four. Just imagine how messed up it would have been if he would have stayed in office for another 4 years. Okay, just imagine. 4 more years of Trump would have created a bankruptcy for real. Okay, because he's bankrupt many private companies. Okay, he has ruined many companies. So go do some homework, check it out for yourself. You'll find out how much of a disaster that was. Okay, how much of a disaster that was. That was totally a disaster. Okay, so now Donald Trump, let's talk about we ain't got much else to talk about. I've been on here ranting and raving for a few minutes now. I want to talk about the Representative DeSantis. You know, I've heard many members of the representative of Congress stand up and say that McCarthy is backing him for reelection because he needs his vote. And they are so perplexed over the indictment that have come down of how he was making $120,000 in salary and applied for unemployment and got it. I'm going to say that again. He had a salary of $120,000 and applied for unemployment and got it. Those are some of the indictments that are against him in New York. And nobody is calling for him to leave because they feel like his vote is important. And for him to sit there and say that I'm going to do this again, oh man. Anybody in the Republican Party should not even want to talk to him because he's a dishonor to their party. Okay, a royal dishonor. I said royal. Literally, he has, turned the party into the face of deception and dishonor. There's no honor in the Republican Party. And now he's a poster child for the Republican Party. So I think that we get the message. The Republican Party is definitely hanging out to dry at this particular time. So this is what I want to do. I want to encourage you all to think about getting a show. If you want to get a show here on Street News Now, there's a process. You can go over to streetnewsnow.com. And when you get over there, you can fill out the form. Fill out the form. And somebody in the administrative staff will get with you to help you put your show on this network. This network, Street News Now, is growing. We have plenty of opportunity and plenty of space available for you. So now get on board. That's what you got to do. Get on board, and we will help you get your show up and going. I've talked to several people myself that have expressed an interest in coming on board, so you need to go ahead on and do that. Don't wait till the last minute. Get on board now. I want to encourage you all to subscribe, like, and share. Just hit that subscribe button when you get over here. Subscribe. No matter what format you're listening on, subscribe, like, and share so you can see each and every time that we come on the air. So we can keep up the good work. If you like what you're doing, make comments, send us comments. We'll read your comments on the air, but continue to support what we are doing over here. This has been the Street News Now News Report, and I am your host, Dr. Ron. So I look forward to seeing you guys on next week. So please stay safe, be careful. We look forward to seeing you guys real soon.